Namaskar, Jai Hind, and welcome to National Security Live. In episode 17 of National Security Live, we have been discussing about Indo-Bangladesh border. In part 1 of episode 17, we have actually discussed Indo-Bangladesh border and its geography. Eh, we have divided the border into various parts, like in West Bengal front, in Assam front, in Meghalaya front, in Tripura and Mizoram also. And we have discussed various varied geography with respect to various states of India. We have discussed about the role of various security agencies like border security force, etc., and defending issue along this India-Bangladesh border. Today we are moving ahead with the technology integration and onwards. So before beginning, I would like to request everyone kindly to watch this video and all of my national security live videos in 1.5x for your better experience. So let's begin with it. So technology is where the future of a border becomes particularly interesting. The integration of technology is really important in with respect to future of border management. In modern border, it has been becoming a smart border day by day. We have seen such examples in Israel Palestine borders, in the borders of US Mexico and various other states. So smart border means integrating various electro-optical sensors, various cameras, even thermal surveillance, ground sensors, communication networks, various drones wherever it is appropriate, and riverine surveillance systems, night vision systems, and centralized command and control features. These are basically the technology means which we can actually integrate into border. But but technology alone isn't enough. Okay, technology alone is not enough to protect the border. The real advantage comes from the integration of technology. Like a sensor, it detects the movement of illegal migrants or any movement along the border. The information thereby reaches a command center, then the command center identifies the location, right? And then a patrol or maybe a response team or maybe a QRT, that is quick reaction team, it directs towards it. State police, on the other hand, are alerted if the person actually moves inside the border. Intelligence agencies also, they can then connect the incident with various wider criminal or trafficking networks. So this is what we call layered security architecture. From technology, we are beginning with a layered security infrastructure, from border security force to state police to the intelligence grid. So these are the layers of security. Here technology plays roles in the smart border, not only in the smart border but in the BSF interface also, in the police interface also in the intelligence interface also, right? If we now zoom into the state police works, or how state police works with BSF to protect the India's Bangladesh border, this is where I believe our discussion needs to go beyond BSF, right? BSF is the first line of defense. It guards the international boundary. But what state police does? State police does the immediate interior of this boundary. The distinction is very crucial, right? Let's you imagine that a person is successfully crossing the border. The border itself, actually now it has been breached since the person crossed the border. But the security problem becomes it much larger if that person can then travel hundreds of kilometers from the border without being identified. Therefore we need a layered system. Here comes the first layer. It's the BSF, that is Border Security Force. I'm talking about everything I am talking about is Indo-Bangladesh border. Remember, sorry. Here BSF actually does the border surveillance things. It does the patrol, interception of illegal immigrants, and immediate border response. BSF looks into such surveillance or such things from as a first line of defense in Indo-Bangladesh border. Next comes the second layer, that is state police. It gathers intelligence, it does investigation, even internal surveillance, even even the criminal network disruption work it does, and takes action against trafficking and smuggling networks. State police actually intercepts, right? That is the primary job of state police. In the third layer, we can go with the intelligence agency, the central intelligence, and various even investigation agency. They do the pattern analysis, like if this group or this person is related to some kind of organized crime group, and maybe if this person or this event is linked to something big against the national security. So intelligence agencies actually they do their job, and even interstate coordination. Now let's say if we need coordination between West Bengal and Assam, between Assam and Tripura, or maybe in between Meghalaya and Mizoram in terms of border. So these intelligence agencies, even BSF does the coordination, but intelligence agency takes a more step forward, and they do collective work, because intelligence agency are mostly centralized, and even though we do have state intelligence agency too. So if we go the security architecture are by step by step, first let's look into West Bengal. West Bengal actually it requires a very enormous security architecture because it has the longest border, as we have learned. It is 2000 kilometer plus border with Bangladesh. This challenge is not simply the manpower here. It is the combination of population density, the riverine terrain. The terrain is very riverine there, particularly in the Sundarbans areas and areas which are close to Siliguri corridor. Various agricultural areas even there, and urban connectivity also there. Some trade routes also there, and most importantly, as I have mentioned, the strategic Siliguri corridor. The West Bengal Police or W Police and BSF, they need seamless intelligence sharing mechanism in border districts. As we have learned in the term of previous governments, there were some tussle between BSF and state police regarding the guarding of Indo-Bangladesh border in the West Bengal front. But after the new government come, we have seen that our Honorable Union Home Minister, he is actually coming to that Siliguri region, to West Bengal region, and making the coordination work more swift in between BSF and West Bengal Police. Here we have found a news in just 2-3 days ago that West Bengal Police is actually constructing or building a anti-terrorism task force, or maybe ATS, an anti-terrorism squad, with respect to terrorism activities in this state, as well as with respect to the illegal immigrants also. That is West Bengal, right? Moving to Assam. Assam also requires a particular attention to the riverine environment, because most of the border with West Bengal is through riverine environment, and BSF river patrol capabilities, their surveillance systems, and local intelligence here becomes especially very important. The Assam police becomes here crucial for identifying networks operating beyond the immediate border zone. I know Assam police have a particular department of border security. In every district there is a department of border security, and people are engaged there, particularly in sorry, In border districts, this border security division is very much active, and they do work in coordination of BSF and other intelligence agency to make the border more secure. And I can say that in terms of border with Bangladesh, the situation of no compromise and like detect and deport, it has become more imminent in present day situation. In Meghalaya also, the security architecture must adopt the hilly terrains and forest there. That means mobility, terrain specific patrol, even local intelligence gathering, and really rapid communication between the BSF and state police, right? Similarly, with Tripura, which requires an integrated model, it should cover the forest, the hills, the village, and measure legal crossing points. Because as we have learned earlier in part 1 of this lecture, the Tripura's geographical relationship with Bangladesh is very much, it is means surrounded by Bangladesh in three sides. Only one side is India, other three sides are actually Bangladesh. So internal coordination, it's become particularly important in case of Tripura than any other state. And the role of Tripura police and its coordination capabilities, it must need to improve as challenges are improving, or as borders instability goes on and on, it's more required. Coming to the other state, that is Mizoram, it actually requires a terrain specific model. It has mountainous and forested area which actually demand smart surveillance system capable of actually operating where conventional infrastructure is difficult. So Mizoram actually needs a different model than that of West Bengal. Meghalaya needs a different hilly terrain model than that of riverine model of West Bengal. So the forces beginning with BSF, state police, and even intelligence agencies, they need different architecture, they need different manpower capabilities and difficult physical and digital infrastructures to deal with such borders. It's not just a simple job. So state to state, the model of border security varies. Because why? Because of the terrain. It's a very difficult terrain, as we have mentioned, and geography actually does not permit us even to fence all the 4,096 kilometers of border. We have seen that since most of the borders is fenced, but government has declared that 174 kilometer is impossible. This impossible to fence 174 kilometers. So in such areas, it is needed to have very smart surveillance. As I have mentioned, last year there had been various crazy ideas, like just like letting crocodiles go out in the open rivers in Indo-Bangladesh border, letting the venomous snakes go so that they will protect our border, and immigrants will not swim around, not swim across the border because of the fear of crocodiles or venomous snakes. But this is just a theory, and some crazy people actually developed it. But I don't think this should be successful, because the deterrence effect of such crocodiles or venomous snakes will be both ways. It will go both Indian side and Bangladesh sides too, and it will have implications for the security forces too. So anyway, every state having different border security architecture with respect to Indo-Bangladesh border. That is the bottom line that we have got from this point. So now, from the security, from the physical security angle, if we look into the legal trade mechanism, if we look into border security uh, from the lens of legal trade mechanisms, we do have legal trade between Bangladesh and India. So security first approach, actually it does not mean shutting down all the legitimate cross-border trade. That would be counterproductive. India and Bangladesh having actually important legal trade routes and integrated land ports. Here comes the Petropol, which is the largest trade gateway. You have heard of the Petropol. The Petropol, or you can say Petrapol, it is the largest land trade gateway in between India and Bangladesh. Other trade gateways are in Agartala, in Tripura, and even in Dauki. Dauki is in Meghalaya, Sutarkandi, and Srimantapur. These are the main or primary trade gateways. The Land Port Authority of India, it has actually described these facilities as very important components of regional trade connectivity and relations between people to people. And there is an important security principle here. Sorry. Legal movement, it should become easier to control precisely, right? It should become very easier, because illegal movement should become harder. It's the simple. We need to make the legal movement easier and illegal movement harder. That is the simple principle. So for that, we need to modernize legal gateways. We need to digitalize cargo processing units. We need to improve identity verifications, even need to use surveillance mechanisms or technology enabled surveillance mechanisms, and even inspection technology. Separate legal traffic and illegal crossing. We need to distinguish between the legal traffic and illegal crossing, which is actually very much in place at present. So here we can draw a line that a secure border, it doesn't have to be it is not meaning like a closed border. A secure border, it doesn't mean a closed border. It simply means a controlled border where there will be legal and legitimate crossing, but complete halt of or complete stoppage of illegal immigrants activities. Sorry. So far we have discussed about India Bangladesh border from India's point of view, from the geography of India, from the point of view of India, or from the architecture of India. If we now just look a bit into this border from Bangladesh side, what are they doing? What are the other side of the border? From security point of view, the border guard Bangladesh, or BGB, they are at the other side. BGB is Bangladesh. It's Bangladesh's actually principal security force, and it has its own deployment structure and operational capabilities, like we do have with our BSF. India and Bangladesh here have mechanisms for communications and coordination between their border forces. So BSF and BGB of Bangladesh, that is BSF of India and BGB of Bangladesh, we do have regular communication and coordination among our border posts, among our commander level even. But from India's national security perspective, here one principle should remain very constant. India's border security, it cannot exclusively depend on intentions. It cannot depend on political stability or political instability, or maybe it shouldn't depend on operational effectiveness of another country. Whatever Bangladesh is doing with their BGP, or whatever political stability or instability going there, whether there are operational effectiveness among the forces of Bangladesh are there in terms of Indo-Bangladesh border or not, our border security should not depend on Bangladesh's architecture of security. Yes, cooperation is very useful, coordination is necessary, and even diplomatic engagement is useful. India has uh, gone with one prominent diplomat as probably High Commissioner of Bangladesh, High Commissioner of India at Bangladesh, who is engaging in various diplomatic talks, which is very useful. But India's physical border security architecture must ultimately be capable of protecting India's territory independently. It is not going to depend on whatever BGB or Bangladesh border guard is doing or not. That is strategic autonomy of India, particularly with respect to border management. As we have gone there to Bangladesh, if we don't talk about political dimensions there, or what's happening in there in Bangladesh, this lecture would be incomplete, right? Because we all know what's happening in Bangladesh. Particularly 2 years back, there was, oh my God, the student, on the name of students protest, what not happened in Bangladesh. And even now we have been hearing a lot more things, and just few days back we have heard that some minority families, the whole family was being attacked by whom we don't know, but this is a very unfortunate. So here comes the political dimension. India and Bangladesh have actually historically had periods of even very close cooperation. It was actually fluctuating. The political circumstances has been changing as the government in Dhaka is changing. In which Sheikh Hasina, India has wonderful relations in terms of Indo-Bangladesh relations, and even in terms of geopolitical impact and geopolitical coordination. We had a very good relation with Bangladesh when there was Sheikh Hasina. But the political upheaval in Bangladesh in 2024, it fundamentally altered the regional environment, not just border, it fundamentally altered the regional environment. So our border security architecture should not be designed on the assumption that bilateral relation would always remain equally cooperative. The architecture of border security, particularly with Bangladesh, we must not go with the hope that yes, it's the security situation going to improve, the political situation going to improve in Bangladesh. No. In some ways we must look it into like with Pakistan border, or how we are doing with Pakistan border. We should somehow look into Indo-Bangladesh border with such lens too. Yes, the relationship can improve with Bangladesh. It's not Pakistan. Historically, it is not behaving like it's not historically behaving like Pakistan from 1971. There had been good relations even, but it can deteriorate. Government can even change. Political rhetoric can change even. Strategic alignment can even change, but India's border with Bangladesh remains. The border would not change. The border would remain. Whether political fluctuation will be there, political uncertainties would be there, the so-called good leaders or friendly leaders will come, or not so friendly leaders will come and go. But the border will remain the same. So therefore, border security must be based on capabilities of India, not just assumption. We should build more and more capabilities day by day, not just assumption that when we should have good security, that assumption that Bangladesh will have good relations with India, BGP will do that, BGP will do this. No, it's not like that. So this is what the security scenario in terms of politics inside Bangladesh. Now coming to very important section, that is the Siliguri corridor. It is one additional strategic factor that actually deserves special attention, the Siliguri corridor. This is, as we know, a narrow strip of land which links the mainland India with the northeast. Its proximity to Bangladesh, or so this is connected to the security of northeast. The Siliguri corridor is connected to the security of northeast, the military mobility, logistics, even communications, and national territorial connectivity. For India, the objective should therefore it should be to ensure that the corridor have surveillance depth. It has infrastructure redundancy. It has rapid response capability and strong coordination among the agencies operating the region. Let's say the Border Security Force, the West Bengal Police, the intelligence agencies, and lastly the Army and the Air Force, which comes first at the time of warlike situations or conflict. But these 3-4 layers of security, we need to have very good coordination among them. So with this all, we have to ask the question, so what should we do? What should India do? What should India's future strategy look like with respect to this Indo-Bangladesh border? So here I would like to divide with it various priorities. I have gone it with noted down 7 priorities. Like, we should complete physical fencing whenever physically feasible. Yes, government said in the parliament that 174 kilometer of border is not possible to fence, but we have to fence the remaining piece of land, whichever is possible, and swift work is going on there. So there should be no unnecessary gaps, or there should be no avoidable delays. And where conventional fencing is not impossible, we have to like do everything. And wherever it is not possible, we have to go with various alternative technologies, various sensors and surveillance systems. That is number one. Number two, we have to build a true smart border with sensors, with thermal cameras, even technologies like electro-optical surveillance, even drones with appropriate capabilities, and riverine surveillance, integrated command centers, and secured communication networks. Since this border is having strips like Siliguri corridor, we need actually secure communication networks. Third, we need to strengthen riverine security, especially in vulnerable riverine sectors in West Bengal and in Assam, and in some parts of Meghalaya also. Here, both sensors, night surveillance, thermal cameras, and rapid response units, or maybe QRTs, reaction units, or quick reaction teams, they need to operate as one system. That's number 3. Number 4, we need to create real-time BSF state police intelligence integrations. We need to integrate the intelligence of BSF and state police, also with other intelligence agencies who is operating on, around, or across the border. Let's say IB is operating the Indian side in the border, also India's external agency who is operating along the border. So the information collected at the border must not remain at the border. It must move towards the state security architecture. That is really the individuals. The networks of infiltrators, or the network of traffickers, including human traffickers and logistic traffickers, and even cattle traffickers. We need to attack the networks, not just to attack the individuals. If someone is crossing illegally, we need to ask who helped them to cross, who transported them, who arranged the documentation, and who profits from the movement, right? So disrupting this network is often more effective than just simply intercepting one person. So we need to go after the network than just holding one person or one family. We need to look into who arranged the documents, who profits from the movement, who transported them, and who helped them to cross, right? That is number 5. Sorry. Number 6 is we need to strengthen the second line inside India. What is the second line? Do you remember? As we have discussed, border security force, it is the first line of defense, but the police is the second line of defense. Border districts, in border district we need stronger intelligence, even police coordination, and lawful immigration enforcement. So we need to strengthen the police in terms of coordination, in terms of intelligence, investigation, and quick response. Also, the checking of lawful immigration, what police does. So we need to strengthen the second line of this defense. We need to strengthen the West Bengal police, we need to strengthen the Assam police, we need to strengthen Meghalaya police, Tripura police, and Mizoram police, whoever operating across the border areas as second line of defense, of course. So this is number 6. And finally, we need to maintain legal and regulated crossing points. It is debated. The number 7 point that I have said, that its objective is to have maximum security and minimum uncontrolled movement. But this is actually disputed. A lot more people, particularly in India, they go with the theory of completely shutting down Bangladesh border, but in reality it is not possible from security point of view, from demographic point of view. It is not 100% possible. So we need to maintain legal and regulated crossing points. They may be just in small numbers, but we need to maintain various legal and regulated crossing points and completely shut down the illegal routes. So here we come as one border, that is India-Bangladesh border, and as we have discussed, there are 5 security environments. One is summarizing, one is in West Bengal, which is the longest border, 2000 kilometer plus, which is predominantly it plains and having riverine terrain. The Sundarbans areas in the south is very difficult. It has major trade routes. And here comes the Siliguri corridor as strategic dimension for India. This is West Bengal. In Assam, on the other hand, the border is very short but important because of the riverine environment, because of the Brahmaputra system, because of the tributaries of the Brahmaputra. Floodplains and shifting channels are there, and this is of high importance as riverine surveillance and integrated intelligence is much needed in Assam border or Assam Bangladesh border. In Meghalaya, there are hills, forests, and valleys, very difficult terrain. So Indian agencies need to highlight the Indian agencies actually need to highlight the required infrastructure to meet with such a difficult terrain. It's completely different than that of Assam or West Bengal. In Tripura also, Bangladesh covers Tripura with 3 sides, a mixture of hills, forests, valleys, even densely populated areas also. So extensive border infrastructure is too much necessary in Tripura. Similarly, in Mizoram, it is mountainous and forested, a very difficult terrain, and greater dependence on terrain-specific surveillance and mobility. So here come 5 states and more than 5 different types of terrains, but one national security requirement: the ability to detect, the ability to identify, intercepts, and investigate the unauthorized cross-border movement. So what's the bigger strategic lesson from this Indo-Bangladesh border, or from the history of this Indo-Bangladesh border? What we learn, as this brings us, whatever we discuss today, it brings us to a larger relation. India's Bangladesh border, it cannot be secured by one measure, not by just doing the fencing, not the BSF can do it alone, not by technology alone, and even not by diplomacy alone, right? And certainly not by political rhetoric. Yes, the political rhetoric actually has the opposite impact. It actually requires a layered national security architecture. As we have learned, the first layer is BSF, second layer is state police, third layer is intelligence, and fourth layer will be there in terms of army and air force and other national forces, military forces, which will react at the war-like situations only. So these layer need to intersect, and the intelligence layer, it needs to be more proactive, right? So here physical barriers, wherever possible, we should build it, and we have been building it. And wherever physical barriers are not possible, we need to integrate technology. BSF is at the frontier, as we know. State police is in the hinterland, and intelligence agencies are connecting the forces, or connecting all the areas. They work in a gray zone, right? So modern legal crossing points we should also make, as we have discussed, even though it is very controversial, but it is necessary for legitimate movement. So rapid response, whenever system detects a breach, rapid response is very important, and that is what integrating with this all, we can say it is a modern border security. This is modern border security, integrating all these that we have discussed. So India Bangladesh border, as we are closing with all these two parts of India Bangladesh border, it is, as we know, approximately 4096 kilometers, but its real complexity cannot be measured by kilometers. It lies in the geography, right? In the rivers, in various population density, even in the history. We have learned history from 1971. We learned from 1947, even 1971, 1990s, etc. In the migration question, which is very big with respect to this border, even there are some organized crime networks who have been working there. There have been political sense, particularly in Bangladesh, even in Indian side of some states too. And the strategic importance of India's northeast with respect to the Siliguri corridor. This is why India's Bangladesh border cannot be approached with the same security template used in every other neighboring country. Whatever template is being used in Indo-Myanmar border, Indo-China border, Indo-Bangladesh border, Indo-Bhutan border, or maybe Indo-Pakistan border, the same template we cannot use in India-Bangladesh border. This border requires its own doctrine. A doctrine, it should be based on deterrence, it should be based on surveillance, even technology, intelligence, infrastructure, and most importantly, rapid response. The objective of this border security is straightforward. Every legitimate crossing should take place through an authorized channel only, and every unauthorized crossing should face a high probability of detection and interception. And 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 the security architecture, it should be the strong enough, right? That changes in political circumstances, and maybe political circumstances on either side of the border, and it is not to compromise India's national or India's territorial security. The security architecture, actually, in summary, we can say it should be like independent of the political environment on both sides of the border, whether the political environment in Bangladesh or maybe in any state of India or maybe whole of India. Because ultimately a national border is not merely a line on the map. It is the physical expression of national sovereignty, and protecting that sovereignty is not an occasional exercise. It is a continuous national security responsibility. So this is National Security Live. I'm your host. This was episode 17 about India-Bangladesh border security perspective. Anyway, uh, we come to the end of episode 17. So dear learners of all ages, if you like our videos, kindly contribute us with some guru dakshinas, whatever way you may can, through Google Pay, that is GPay or PhonePe, for the sustenance of our Gyanonema school channel. Numbers are scrolling here on the screen. Here I would also like to thank everyone who has already contributed us, and we are grateful to each one of you. Thank you very much. And with this we come to the end of Indo-Bangladesh border, and that's all. Jai Hind, Bande Mataram.